Hi, I'm Chris Haigh and this is the Fiddle channel, and today we're going to play Isn't She Lovely? Isn't She Lovely was a song by Stevie Wonder from the 1976 album Songs from the Key of Life, and it makes a really nice instrumental as well as being a great song. I'm going to show you the basic melody and some ideas for improvisation over this. On the original, Stevie Wonder does some soloing on the harmonica, and we're going to have a look at some of the ornaments that he uses because they translate really nicely onto the fiddle. We're doing it in the original key. If you look at the chord sequence, it's quite a complex chord sequence, but in fact you don't really have to worry too much about those unless you're going to do a full-on jazz solo, which I'm not going to, and I'll show you some pretty easy approaches to getting through this. So let's start off with the basic melody with no ornaments. We're starting off with a quarter note triplet. And if you're not sure how to count this, then I do have a video on this topic. It's quite important in this tune because there's lots of them, but it's made easy by the fact that we have a kind of a 12/8 rhythm going on. Daddle-do, 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 daddle-do. So it's 1, 2, 3. This last bit, you can do that, or you can take it down an octave, which is quite a lot easier actually, but it's nice to get that high harmonic. So we're going second finger, third position, third, fourth finger on the harmonic. There's some bits of the melody in the third line. There's lots of different ways you could phrase that, and I probably wouldn't do it exactly like that every time. The rest of it playing pretty much as written. One more time, and this time I'll put in some little hammer-ons. So stuff like first note, if you put your first finger down below it, and then just hammer on the second finger, and then hammer on your first finger, and then a little flick of the second and first finger for the E. Another hammer on. So you don't have to do it every time, just do it now and again. I think I might play a second finger there. Let's do all of that with the backing. Right, let's look at some of the chords. The version I've got, we have C sharp minor 7, F sharp 9, possibly right, B11, I'm not even going to attempt that, E, C sharp minor 7, We've got A major 7, G sharp 7 flat 9, G sharp 7, C sharp minor 7, F sharp 9, and so on. So those are tricky chords, and you could spend weeks on mastering each chord, and in my opinion your time would mostly be wasted, because we can play perfectly happily through the whole solo with the E major pentatonic scale. I'll just demonstrate that. I won't demonstrate following those chords because really they are too hard. So E major pentatonic, with an occasional E major blues scale, which means adding the flattened third. So I'll play once round a very simplistic solo, but demonstrating the use of that scale, completely ignoring the chords. I just noodled up and down on that scale, and there was nothing that didn't sound good, or at least sound okay. The way I look at it is that if you play the E major pentatonic and those interesting chords are going on in the background, it's going to make what you are playing sound interesting. Whereas if you're trying to follow every twist and turn of every chord, then you're going to be struggling, well, I would certainly be struggling, and a lot of other musicians would, to make any sense of those chords. So play it simple and it'll sound a lot more complex than it is, which is good. I've got a series of little licks that you can use, because just noodling on the scale is not good enough, but stuff like that kind of thing makes the scale much more interesting, and it makes it last longer, which is great. You don't have to use the whole scale, you can just use maybe 3 adjacent notes. Or. So any 3 notes repeated is going to sound good. That's using the flattened third. And all of these licks are based on triplets, making use of the do-do-da, do-do-do-da, the 12/8 feel. I'll do a bit of a solo using those 4 licks I've just shown you. Then we'll have a little look at backing. Another technique you might use with your improvisation is the fiddle capo, or capo, where you put your first finger across the root and the fifths, in this case the E and the B. And you can then use the same fingering that you would use in a lot of other keys, using the same thing and replacing that fourth finger with the first finger. You've got the same fingering, but playing an octave higher, which is really good. But now, I said I would look at the chords. So you have two options. You can, well, the rhythm you might use is something like. So this is chops. If you want to be really simple. Now, something based around just the E and the B is going to work pretty well. Let me just play it just using those all the way through. See what that sounds like. So it's rhythmically it's quite interesting, melodically not very. So I think I would. I think you could just do it. Just using those notes, moving up and down, would probably work fairly well. Let me just try that. So I was then able to follow most of the chords, like for the A major, putting a C sharp in, G, G natural, for the C sharp, F sharp, B. So without moving the capo at all, just moving up and down, playing either by ear or by following the actual roots, then you can do a fairly decent job of that. So it's by no means as difficult a tune as you might think. If you'd like a copy of the sheet music for this, then do subscribe to the channel, send me an email, I will send you a free PDF. And if you would like to get hold of all of my PDFs in one go, over 400 of them, do please consider joining me on Patreon. And you can either take out a subscription, in which case all of those PDFs are free, or you can join as a free member, so take out no subscription, but you can then buy these. For the extortionate cost of £8, that will get you all 400 PDFs. And there's lots of other goodies there as well. So thank you for watching, I'll see you again soon. I'll play you out with one more solo.